Hello, and welcome to Sponge Stories, the podcast for face painters by face painters. I'm Siobhan, the face behind Theatrics Faces, and I'm on a mission to lift the lid on what it really takes to build a face painting business, the good, the messy, and everything in between. Each episode, I'll be chatting to artists, industry experts, and real working face painters about the things that we don't always talk about. Pricing struggles, burnout, confidence, boundaries, growth, and how to actually make this job work for your life. So whether you're painting your first full face or juggling a fully booked diary this year, you're in the right place. Let's get straight into today's episode. So hello and welcome to this week's episode of Sponge Stories. Today I'm joined by Mackenzie from MJC Artistry, a Canadian face painter, which is really exciting. My first proper international abroad, different time zones currently as well, which is a bit mental. But yeah, Mackenzie is an artist and business owner who has grown her business from face painting at a local gym show, I believe. I was doing some digging on your website, into a thriving entertainment company. So she's also recently created a face paint colouring book designed to help us slow down as painters, get creative, and experiment with designs and colour, as well as a brand new face paint planner, which she very kindly sent me a couple of weeks ago. So I've been having some mindfulness time with the colouring book, and I was just saying that I'm a bit annoyed that I have to share it with my daughter, because every time I get it out to sit down, my daughter's straight in there to colour too. But we've just been chatting about maybe scanning some pages for her to do herself. So Mackenzie, welcome to Sponge Stories.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I've listened to every episode so far. So it's been great to hear the journey from since you started interviewing people, to see how much it's grown, and the people that you've interviewed. Some of them I follow on Instagram and stuff already. So it was cool to hear them talking about their business and everything as well. So thank you for hosting a podcast like this for face painters like us.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's 5:30 where you are.
Yeah.
So you've had to get up super, super early to come on the podcast as a guest.
That's part of business ownership. It's sometimes late nights and early mornings, and you just do what makes it work.
Well, thank you so much for getting up super early to come on, because it's always tricky trying to work out recording times around kids and business and weekends. Obviously, I can't record at weekends because I'm painting at weekends and stuff. So I do appreciate you getting up really super early to come on for us.
I mean, my dog doesn't complain too much that I get up early, so and I don't have kids to work around, so I was able to be flexible.
So for anyone that hasn't heard of MJC Artistry, then can you tell us a bit about yourself and a bit about how you got started and how you built the business?
So I live in Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. I started face painting 3 years ago, and I have also published books, as you said, and I have a network of subcontractors. It started about a year after I moved to BC, because I moved from Ontario, and I joined a local rock club, and they were having a general meeting about their rock show in October, and they were like, oh, how do we make it more kid friendly and stuff? And I was like, oh, what if we did rock themed face painting? Crystals and geodes and that sort of stuff. And they're like, oh, do you think a face painter would do special requests like that? And I was like, I've been painting for 9 years. I have a diploma in art. I mean, I could probably do it. It's just a different kind of paint. And so I bought some paint and started painting my own face, and I just absolutely fell in love with the magic of transformation. I think it healed a part in me, and I haven't let it go since. Yeah, so that's how I started.
So were you into sort of rocks and geodes and stuff? Is that why you joined the club then? Did you always have an interest in it? Because that seemed so not random, but it's just so almost specific. It's a real niche.
When I was in college for art, I got into working with natural materials a lot. That's one of my teachers worked with natural materials a lot, and so I experimented a lot with them in college, making my own paints out of flowers and dirt and cabbage and all kinds of stuff. And, I've made sculptures out of eggshells, and I used a lot of natural materials. And so I was kind of attracted to natural materials. And my partner and we took a trip out to Nova Scotia. And Nova Scotia is geologically beautiful. We hired a tour guide to take us down to Fundy Bay, and we went through the caves and we were like digging crystals out of the wall. And that's when I fell in love with rocks. And Ontario isn't too geologically interesting. Most of the nice rocks like amethyst are up further north. So there wasn't too much going on where we were. And so when we moved to BC, we were like, oh, there's so much more geologically here compared to Ontario. And so we joined a rock club because there's one in almost every city here, which wasn't like that in Ontario. And so, we went on like excursions, like going rock hounding and stuff and finding rocks and, participated in the rock shows, took some cabbing classes and learned how to like shape them and make our own jewelry out of them. So it was really cool.
That's cool. Do you still do a lot of that now? Is that still a hobby?
I don't have time for it, in all honesty. I wish I did.
Maybe it'll pick back up again. It's not going anywhere. The rocks have been there for millions of years.
Exactly.
Right? Do you remember the first face that you painted then? Was it at that rock show then? So you offered to do the face painting. Do you remember the first face that you painted on someone?
On someone else would be my partner. He's only let me paint his face like twice in 3 years though. So I definitely remember that. But the rock show like was in October, but the meeting was in like May or April. So I ended up actually starting in June, and I started doing birthday parties and events prior to going to the rock show. So it was actually the general meeting about the show that kind of like sparked the idea for me. And then by the time that I had done the face painting at the rock show, I had been doing it for a couple months. So I think it was probably a birthday party where I did my first face paint on someone else that wasn't my family.
So because you said you studied art then, because you came into face painting with an existing art background and experience, do you feel like that gave you confidence, or did the transferring it to painting on like a moving, breathing, wriggling human, did it feel like learning an entirely new skill, or were there elements that were transferable? I'm thinking color theory and focal points and things like that. They're transferable skills, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I would definitely say it was a transferable skill. The most complicated part was just like the face is more dimensional. It's 3D, right? Whereas like a canvas is flat, and so that was the most challenging part, is like having it fit the face and the curves of the face rather than just being a flat piece. And then also it just being faster, like you spend days or months on a canvas, but then you have to spend like, 5 minutes maximum on a face paint. But I feel like my background in manufacturing actually kind of gave me a leg up there as well. I worked in a manufacturing plant as a welder, and we did like a car a minute. So like I had like a set amount of welds that I had to do per car per minute. And so like, having that line work process was also, I think an advantage in face painting, thinking of things in terms of like processes and steps. I need to do this, and then that way it kind of speeds up the process. So I feel like the art background and the manufacturing background like kind of really came together and made face painting a little bit easier for me. Of course, like, learning the designs was different, and learning how they fit the face was challenging. And, I'm still not the best or anything. I mean, it's very hard to be, anything super big in face painting because there's always stuff to learn and always things to experiment with. So, yeah.
So were you working in the manufacturing then when you started the birthday parties as like a side business?
No, I was working in manufacturing back in Ontario, and I actually left welding for mental health. And that's when I went back to art school. The government gave me a second career fund, and I was able to go back to school funded by the government. And I had to write them a letter as to why I could take art and how I could make a career out of that. And face painting definitely wasn't on that list. I never anticipated ever becoming an entertainer. On my list was like graphic designer or, being a gallerist or, that sort of stuff. Face painting wasn't on that list. And then when I moved to BC, I started out in graphic design as a junior graphic designer and realized that I didn't like sitting behind a desk as much. And I ended up getting laid off. So then I went back to support work. So I worked with adults with special needs part-time, and around a year after being in BC is when I started face painting, and then I kind of worked part-time doing support work and then slowly dropped down hours. And this year in, I think it was April, March, I left and went full-time face painting.
So at what point did you think then that you went from really enjoyed doing the face painting on the side to actually, if I really keep pushing this could become my full-time business?
I think it was pretty soon in realizing that there was at the time, to me, from the research that I did, it seemed like there was a gap in the market since COVID. Like, I looked up face painting near me and tried to see like who was doing it and what the market of that was. Because when I first started, my husband actually, when I told him I wanted to start a face painting business, he thought I was kind of crazy. He's like, "You're never going to make any money doing it." And so I was kind of like, "Oh, can this be a job? Can I make money doing it?" And so I looked locally and I was like, "Oh, it doesn't seem like there's too many face painters practicing." Like, some face painters websites said like, "Oh, we're not practicing yet," or "We're shut down for COVID," or whatever. And it was a couple years after COVID. And so I kind of saw like, oh, there's kind of a spot where I can slip in right now. And so that's when I started thinking about it as, maybe this could be something that could be full-time one day. And that's when I started building towards it.
So the business grew quite quickly because it says on your website that you discovered face paint in 2023. And now your company covers an enormous area, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
So it's
I mean,
grown so quick and covers
I would
such a
say
large
that
area.
I've had a very accelerated career, in my opinion. Yeah, no, I started off, just with a spark of an idea at the Rock Hand Club, and then started doing birthday parties and going to markets. I was like scouring Facebook for events, and I would like, because you could see local events happening, and I would message everyone, and I'd be like, "Hey, do you need a face painter? Like, how much is a vendor booth?" Like, all that. And I was like actively trying to find work as much as I could. And it's grown to the point from learning and everything that like I don't have to search for work. It just comes to me, which is really nice. I mean, a lot of work goes into that we can chat about along the way. But like, yeah, no, it's been a very accelerated career, and I wasn't expecting it to go this well, this fast. But I think that just comes down to, connections and working really hard and just having a dream and trying to make it come true.
So at what point did you go from just you working events then to working with a team? Because you now run a team, or do you
Yeah,
subcontract
so I
out?
have a network of like face painters, balloon twisters, clowns, and that was probably around year 2. Honestly, one of the biggest things that changed my business was changing my mindset from everyone's competition to this is my community and this is who I collaborate with. Like, when I first started, I was like looking up everybody and I was like, okay, it's me against them. But then, when I changed that mindset, that's when things like really grew. And, then I had a community around me to share work with. And, we all work for each other. I'll work for them. They'll work for me. And, now we have monthly like face paint jams right now. There's only 4 or 5 of us that go. But having that community has been really special, and it's really allowed all of us to take on bigger work than we normally would. So yeah, it was around year 2 that I started working with other people, but I didn't start doing larger events until probably this year, or like mid last year. Like, the most people I would have at an event was like 3 or 4. But this year I had the opportunity to have 10 artists at one event. And actually I had 2 artists at a mall that day. So I had 12 of us working that day, 2 at a mall and 10 at a corporate event. And so that was that was kind of mind-blowing.
So how much of it do you just do the face painting yourself, or do you do any of the entertainment, the balloon twisting, or is
I
that outsourced?
I do balloon twisting. I was very reluctant at first. I actually hated how squeaky and dry balloons were. So I was very reluctant to do it, but I got asked if I did it all the time for birthday parties and events. And so my husband actually learned for me. And so he was my balloon twister. And then he decided to go back to university and learn science. So I had to end up learning. But at first I didn't like it because, it was squeaky, it was dry, it made my hands really cracky. But then I tried to think of it like sculpture. And so like I like it now because it's like a 3D art form. And it's a way to make sculpture that's like temporary as well. So I just try to pull that art background from it and think about it that way. But yes, I do face painting, balloon twisting. I dabbled in a little bit of clowning, but I outsource that now. And yeah.
Is there a danger of taking on too much then? Because, I mean, I think I've spoken to a lot of people now and we all seem to do it. We all seem to think, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And you keep saying yes, yes, yes. That then runs the risk that you're only one person. You can only do so much. You can only do so much in the hours that you have as well. So the question I'd got written down is that, is there a danger for creative people that we keep adding services because we can do them rather than stopping to ask whether we should? So would you say there's a point where you have to say, like you said, you outsource the clown? I could do it. I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with the face painting, occasional balloon twisting, managing all of this, creating the books, doing all the other stuff that you do. But there's got to be a point where you start thinking, I can't do it all, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And my husband has brought that up as well with window and mural painting. I would consider those as more hobbies because I don't really have time for them. I mean, the idea of having weekday work was great, but I do end up getting corporate work during the week, at least this year I have. And so I haven't had time to book any of that. And then when I do it, I think face painting has also ruined me in that way because after college, I would have been thrilled to paint a window or a mural for almost any price. And, getting paid like $135 an hour to paint faces and then charging $75 to $100 for each window panel. And then let's say doing 2 or 3 of them. So that's like maybe $300 and it taking like 3 to 4 hours to do it. It's not as profitable either. So from a business standpoint, if the face painting side is doing well and it's more profitable, then that's what I'm going to put my focus into. But yeah, no, definitely. I think a lot of people can fall into the trap of adding more services. Like I've thought about adding airbrush and then I was like, no, I don't have time to clean all that equipment. So now, if people ask for like other services that I don't offer, I just, give referrals out. And that's why having a network around you of different disciplines is so important. Like we all work together in different ways. Like they are part of your ecosystem. Like their client is your client. And so having people that you can refer work to and have, if they get hired for a corporate event and that their client asks, oh, do you know any face painters? Do you know any clowns? That network is going to pull you from there. And that's how you're going to end up getting a lot of work as well. So I think realizing your limits is important. I've definitely learned that lesson. And, having a network doesn't limit you from being able to subcontract them or, just having them as a referral partner. So yeah, it is definitely a trap that a lot of people fall into. I think there's the danger as well
of trying to monetize your hobbies because we love doing certain things. And because for a lot of people, face painting started out as a hobby or a little side hustle. And then it's snowballed and developed into, like you said, when you're charging a good amount an hour, it's really hard to come back from that and feel like you're working more for less money. So yeah, I suppose if you've got something that's a hobby, it's really, really difficult not to try and monetize that and to just keep it as a hobby that you can pick up, put down. Who was it that said to me, was it Juliet Eve or was it someone else that said to me, like a hobby should be something that you're actually not very good at because then you can spend time learning it in your own time and developing that, but there's no pressure. There's no pressure to monetize it. It's all just for you, not for money. I mean, this is me saying this. I'm the one who started a podcast. Don't take my advice. I start way too many things. You should see the amount of unfinished projects around my house. And luckily, I live just over the road from our local allotments. But I'm now at the point where I won't go into my allotment at the moment because I dread to think what it looks like. That's a hobby that I'll pick up when I've got some free time again. Because that is overgrown with weeds because I love hobbies. That's the problem. That's my issue.
I also was a serial hobbyist. And I think that's why my husband didn't take me seriously when I said it either.
Yes.
Like, this isn't my first business.
Exactly.
I did try to make art businesses before and they didn't work out. Like I used to do hand painted shoes. I tried resin for a little bit. I tried making clay jewelry. I used to be a serial hobbyist. I just don't have as much time to like do passion projects on the side as much anymore because my time off is I'm trying to spend with my partner and with my old dog and everything now. And I'm still trying to ground myself in British Columbia as well, like make friendships and really root my life here as well. So, I don't have as much time for hobbies, but yes,
No,
I was a serial hobbyist.
It's hard finding the balance between putting everything into your business because you feel so passionate about it and like, I really want my business to succeed because like you said, everyone looks at you like, what are you talking about? You're starting a face painting business. Because again, my track record, I like to do a bit of everything, and touch wood, seem to have stuck at this one the longest so far. And it is the most successful because I'm passionate about it, but I'm having to try and schedule in days where I have days off. I mean, I'm not doing it very well. Today's supposed to be my day off and I'm booked into podcast recording. But it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, it's finding a balance between that family life, being a good friend, being a good daughter, remembering to ring my mum. I don't do that very often and I know I should. Doing my best to spend time with all of my friends and like really invest in the relationships that mean something to me. And that's without the kids and my husband and the cats and everything else and day-to-day life and cleaning the house and doing the food shopping. I don't know how I do it all. I don't do it all. That's the problem.
Honestly,
I've got too many plates in
entrepreneurship
the
is
air.
not for the weak. Everyone thinks, oh,
hard.
I'm just going to start a business. Like when I started, I was like, oh, I'm just going to paint faces. And it is so much more than that.
I know so many people I've spoken to say this now. And I was working an event at the weekend and I thought, they're right. The actual physical sitting down for 2 hours and doing a birthday party where all I need to do is paint the faces. That's my break. That's my break. That's like time off. Because it's all the other stuff. It's me sitting in bed last night and then thinking, I'll just double check someone's not emailed me back. And then before you know it, I'm stuck in 3 or 4 emails thinking, well, I'll just reply now so I don't forget. It just doesn't stop. But it's good because I'm enjoying it. And I'd much rather be doing this than be sat in an office working for some middle manager somewhere. So
no, I
I'm not
absolutely
complaining,
agree.
really. So you said you did some digital marketing?
Graphic design.
Graphic design.
Yeah.
So because your website feels very business focused as well as creative, I noticed. You're very clear about your pricing, sort of insurance capacity and what clients can expect. So has that professionalism always come naturally? Was that a really conscious decision to make sure your website was crystal clear?
No. It's been a learning process and I have consumed knowledge as much as I can. I do a lot of driving to events, and so I am always consuming audiobooks. I am always learning about business, and not just from face painters. Like I am learning business, from all different types of businesses, and that's what's kind of made me more business mindset. And then getting involved in networking as well and learning from other business owners, taking their advice and that sort of stuff, and putting myself in situations where, being professional and being business minded is important. I've joined networking groups and, I go to weekly meetings and show up to all these networking events and meet people and introduce my business. And that's really made me think about who my ideal client is and, having a really clear picture of what I do and don't want for work. And that I think is really important, having a clear picture of where you want your business to go. I specialize in corporate and community events. I do birthday parties, but they're more filler for me. I just took on my first junior artist and she's going to be taking on birthday parties for me. So why I put my prices online is just to stop fielding how many messages. I used to hate getting those messages and having to go back and forth. Hey, are you available for this date? Yes, I am. How? And then they're like, how much is it? And I'm like, what city are you in? All this information. And it was just so much back and forth and it was wasting so much time and it costs you so much more than you think it does. And so having your pricing on your website pre-qualifies people because people who immediately see, okay, this isn't in my price range, they're not going to message you. And then having a booking form that has all the information in one place saves you from doing the back and forth as well. So you have all the information and none of it's missing. You don't have to go back and forth and you're able to say, yes, no, I'm available for your event. And honestly, it's been the biggest time saver. And so it has been for pre-qualifying clients and it has been for saving my sanity and time.
No, that's exactly what I do. I've always been really clear about my pricing on my website because I started my business shortly after we got married. So I came into it off the back of having personally to contact loads of vendors and suppliers to try and book people for the wedding. And a classic one is the hair and makeup people. And I found it personally from a client perspective, really annoying that nobody seemed to put their prices on the websites. So I'd have to message them. And then half the time they come back and they're way out of my budget. And then I'm like, well, I don't really want to reply because I don't like having to write back, sorry, I can't afford you. It makes me feel rubbish. So I just wouldn't reply because I've probably emailed 10, 15 people. And then I just email back the ones that I'm maybe a bit more interested in. And then from a vendor point of view, they're thinking, well, why are they ghosting me? Why haven't they come back? Should I chase them up? Blah, blah, blah. And for me, all of that, like you said, it's just that first field of, am I in your budget? Yes or no? It's fine either way. There's no everybody's got a different budget, but it just stops that initial unnecessary request. Am I in your area? Yes or no? I mean, I have my availability listed live on my website so people can book. So the amount of times it's saved, because if the time slot isn't there, you can't book it because someone else has booked it. So I don't have to answer an inquiry saying I'm this much, because they can see how much I am on my website. This is the areas I cover. Am I available? No, she's already booked out on that day. So it's just that I probably don't even, well, of course I don't realize how many people that's already fielded. I don't have to reply to any of those. But I know that there's another school of thought that if you don't have it, you can start talking to people and engage with them and create a conversation that might help you convert the customer. But for me personally, my business, I can only physically work so many hours anyway. So I can't convert everybody. I just need my customers to just go and book, and touch wood, it's working okay for me at the moment.
Your website, you said that you clients can book directly, or can they just see your calendar, or can they see available times and select a time? Oh, that's so scary to me.
Yeah, I know. It's
losing that control.
I know it's not for everybody, but it works great for me. I just get a notification. Like I had one come in last night at 11 o'clock at night. So this client that's booked with me, she hasn't reached out to me. I've not spoken to her, but she's booked a party. It's in a village 5 minutes away from where I am. She's booked it for the 19th of September, 12 till 2, booked, paid up front, done, job done. So all I've done is sent the confirmation email, confirmed all the details that were captured, and said, I'll see you there. Can't wait to help you celebrate your child's party. And it's all ticked, all done, all paid for. Don't need to chase for payment. Don't need to worry about deposits or anything like that. But that's because it works for me, because I'm operating on a much smaller scale. Because some people, so obviously if you're working with a team and you're booking people out, it's probably not going to work for you. But I know that it's just me going out painting, and then I block off when I'm on holiday. I block off when I don't want to work. If I've got one of my kids' birthdays or something, they're always booked off, so no one can book in on those days. So yeah, I'm only booking in work. I mean, I still get a couple of inquiries. Like I had a big corporate come in yesterday and ask for like a specific day where I think I'm already booked, but I don't mind that so much because I've just put it in my local network to ask if anybody else is available to take on the work. But yeah,
I have considered it, but I like to filter, and I've gotten to a point where I don't have to take every job that comes my way. I'm able to be more selective about what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to pick what's going to be best for the business rather than just, what's going to make me money right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like, I mean, it would be so convenient to do it.
Well, I will caveat it and say at the moment, in theory, anybody could, but the only people that book that way are birthday parties. Corporate clients always want to contact you directly because they want a PO or they want an invoice, or they'll have different payment terms, or it has to go through their accounts payable or whatever. So at the moment, I mean, they could if they wanted to just go on and book it, but they don't tend to. They tend to come through me. But with a corporate one, you tend to need to discuss stuff with them anyway. But yeah, it's just the birthday parties. And it's normally like this one that I've just had, but I keep looking over here. Sorry, it's because my calendar's on my wall, so I'm looking at my calendar that nobody else can see. That has come in. It came in the day after I did another birthday party, because it's all part of the same group of parents. So what they've done is the child's gone home and said like, oh, I loved that party. I won the face painter at my party. So they've gone straight onto my website and going, oh, cool, I'll just book that now. Job done, tick. So for me, at the moment, that's easy bread and butter money, right? That's a nice little birthday party, a nice little 2-hour gig on a Saturday, which is the whole reason I started this business, is so that I wouldn't have to work all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I can do 2 hours and a nice little 120 quid and spend the rest of the day with my kids. And then I keep saying they're going to grow up really soon. And then I'll have all weekend free, nothing to do.
Yeah, I mean, take all the time you can with them.
Exactly. So that's why it works well for me at the moment. But just because, yeah, like I said, that all happened in the background. All of that got booked, ticked, sorted in the background and I didn't have to lift a single finger. So it's whatever works for your business though, right? I wanted to ask about your website because you've created a huge amount of really useful content around face painting in different areas about pricing, safety, booking, and event planning. When did you realize that educating clients could also be part of your marketing technique?
Find that if they find my content first, or if they are shopping around and looking for someone, having all their questions answered makes the buying process easier for them. And then it's also just good for like searchability, like Google. So having that information, or like even with ChatGPT and like AI now, people are typing questions in there like, how much does face painting cost? Or, is it safe for my kid and whatever. And so ChatGPT and all these AI platforms are going to be pulling from websites and the internet. And so like if you have information on that, they will give you as an answer usually. I mean, if you have enough information and if it is credible information. AI will pull and quote you. And so you're directly answering and solving your customers' problems before you even talk to them. And so it makes you more credible with your clients as well.
So you said that you mainly do corporate work now over
I do.
birthday parties.
Yes.
Do you market differently for the corporate work?
I think so, yes. Yeah, I mean, for the birthday parties, it's just, you get two options. You can do face painting or balloon twisting or face painting glitter tattoos if you have 10 kids or less or whatever. And I try to market it that way. And I have caps on how many kids and whatever. And so I try to set like really realistic expectations for my clients. And so for corporate events, it's telling them what I show up with, because I show up with more than just a face paint kit. I have like the option to be added as additionally insured under my insurance for the duration of their event as a free add-on. I have my mirror station. I have banners that say like free face painting. I can bring my own chairs. I can bring my own tents. I can like, there's all these optional add-ons, and like most of them are included in the booking. And so like having that on there also like gives a differentiator to me and like other face painters in the area. And corporate clients love knowing what to expect and what's included in their booking. And so having that in my blog posts and in my marketing and in my service agreement and everything, it just makes it easier for them, because they know, okay, if it's more than 2.5 hours, I don't have to provide a table. They're going to bring everything that they need. And then my company's also protected, like, with the additional insurance if they choose to do it and that sort of stuff. So I think I just market more around like the education side. I just try to like educate my clients and hope that they choose me because I am showing myself as an expert in my field, and I think that portrays trust because it's been working.
Well, that's what corporate clients want, isn't it? So most of sort of like for the like family fun days and stuff the big companies put on where they're booking that sort of corporate thing, they're organizing a lot of different vendors to be there, a lot of different entertainment. Ultimately, then when they're booking a face painter, they want to book someone who's going to turn up at the time they're supposed to, do what they're supposed to do, and sort of look after themselves. They don't want someone turning up, not knowing where to go, not having all the right staff, or needing them to be like have chairs fetched for them. I mean, the feedback that I've got whenever I've done bigger events is like, they've always said like how nice it is that I just turn up and get on with it. I don't need anybody to hold my hand the whole way through. I'm just turning up and I'm reasonably self-sufficient. And that's what will get you rebooked, because they've got enough to be dealing with when they're organising a big event than hand holding all of the suppliers and the vendors and the entertainers that turn up. So being able to have all those extra add-ons, like you said, is a nice way of differentiating yourself, because they're like, oh, it's okay. If MJC is coming, then she's good. She'll just do her thing. We'll pop her over there. That's tick in the box, job done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think like also offering other services, like, they don't have to worry about hiring a balloon twister and a face painter and like a glitter tattoo artist and stuff. Like, I'm able to offer all that in one. So like instead of booking multiple vendors, they're able to just like book one. I like at that big corporate event where I had 10 artists, they had me add on tent rentals as well. And I used a third-party tent rental, and I handled that for them as well for us, because like we required tents. And so they're like, okay, can you handle that for me? And I was like, yeah. Added it to the invoice and just did a little uptick on it.
Yeah.
And so, just making it easier for corporate clients, because they have so many logistics to handle. So whatever you can do to make it easier and make it less vendors for them, the more they're going to love you.
Yeah. And most of the time, they're happy to pay for that as well. Like you said, you added your uplift on there. They don't care. They've got a budget. They just want to make sure that the vendors and the suppliers that they're booking are reliable and good and turn up because, like you said, they've got enough to worry about. Often they've got a reasonably large budget to work with, and they'd rather pay that 10% extra for you to arrange the gazebo and the tents and stuff than have to faff around and do it themselves. What
No,
would you say the biggest
absolutely.
lesson is that you've learned about getting clients to see face painting as sort of professional event entertainment than simply an optional children's extra?
It's been an uphill battle, in all honesty. And even just like in networking, trying to have people take you seriously as a face painter is really challenging. Our industry is really undervalued, and everyone thinks of it as just a hobby or something you do for free. And I've been working very hard to show up in a professional manner and be thought of as a business owner, not just a face painter. And it is really challenging. But I think having a professional website and being educative and just trying to be as professional as I can has helped with that, because I think it's raising my clients' expectations as well as to like how their interactions with other entertainers will be in the future. And I'm just doing my best to try and make things maybe hopefully change in that direction where like maybe hopefully we'll be a little bit more respected in the future. And yeah, I mean, the more professional you are, the more people are going to want to refer to you. Like I started showing up to business networking events, and that's gotten me not only just like education, and it's also gotten me referrals as well. Like I've learned so much as a business owner from them. But also they've sent me some like pretty incredible jobs as well, that like I wouldn't have gotten without them.
So it says, I've got it written here that you are a member of business networks, including your local Chamber of Commerce and BNI. What is BNI?
Business Networking International. So it's an international
Okay.
organization where like you have weekly meetings and it's a paid membership. So like you pay to be a part of it and you show up and you do your weekly pitch. And the idea is to create relationships with other businesses, and those businesses will refer you. And I was nervous about investing in it because like I joined less than a year ago now. It'll be a year in August. I was nervous about investing in it. I think it was like, I don't know, $1,500 to $2,000 for the year to invest in it. But like that has paid off incredibly. Like I think just the education itself, the connections, not feeling alone in business and being able to show up every week and have people that are cheering me on and supporting me has been worth it in itself. But like it's landed me some pretty big jobs, like that 10 artist corporate event that came from BNI. I also got to work at the Vancouver FIFA World Cup because of BNI. I was the sole face painter there for all 7 games that was hosted in my city because of it, because those connections, because if you network with people and they like you, they're more likely to refer you. And those people know other people, and it's quite expansive, like how far networking can take you. I didn't even know networking was something that you had to do for a business. And I learned that from listening to all those audiobooks, and it has completely transformed my business.
So the BNI, is that something that's only available in Canada, or is it available internationally?
No, it's international. There's one in almost every country. Yeah.
I'm going to go off and Google that.
There's not very many face painters in it. I think there's 5 face painters in BNI all over the world, including me. There's one in Hong Kong, one in Florida. I'm the only one in Canada. And then where are the other 2? I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's only 5 of us worldwide.
Wow. And you have
It is a big
like
time commitment though.
Right.
Like it's 1 hour a week. Like you have to dedicate yourself to 1 hour a week meeting. And then you're supposed to have like one-to-one, like 1 hour one-to-one meeting with someone in the network a week. So that's 2 hours commitment. And then on top of that, like you have to be thinking about people in your network, and it's about giver's gain, and finding work for other people, like listening when you're talking to people. And if you hear people like, I need my sink backed up this week, or I was thinking of getting an electric car. Oh, so I should tell you about the electrician in my chapter who can help you upgrade to an electric charger in your garage, and that sort of stuff. It's being mindful about their business, and then in response, they'll be reciprocative of like your business as well. Yeah.
Would you say it's changed the way that you think about your business then?
Absolutely. It made me super clear on like everything that I was doing. I mean, I didn't know who my ideal client was. I didn't know how to market myself super well. I didn't realize about like the capacity. Advice from that is actually what got me like that 10 artist corporate event. Like they told me, oh, like people have left BNI because they couldn't handle the amount of business that it brought them. And I was like, okay. And instead of that scaring me, it motivated me. I was like, okay, I'm going to build out my subcontractor roster more because, I don't want to have to turn away work that's been sent to me because I'm like they like me and want to give me business. So, it's taught me so much and allowed me to be more professional and like figure out who my ideal client was. Like I was mostly, I did a couple community events, but I was mostly a birthday face painter. And being in there and working through who my ideal client was, I was able to figure out that I wanted to specialize in corporate and community events. And then I geared my website and my Instagram and I started marketing that way. And now that is who my main clientele is. So it's made me very clear on the direction of my business and where I'm going as well. So I've found it very beneficial, but it is a big time sink. So I mean, there's pros and cons, but like, even joining your local chamber of commerce or just going to local networking events that are just pop-ups, they are so beneficial to have like community and network because you never know like what conversation is going to lead to like what kind of event. And the biggest thing with networking is not to expect people to give you work or hire you. Like you're not going out there shoving your business card in their face and being like, hire me, hire me, hire me. You want to meet people and like have an exchange. Like you want to find ways to help them, like plumbers, electricians, and all those like more serious businesses. They sometimes don't know how to do things creatively. And so like that's kind of things that us as face painters can contribute to them is marketing more creatively or thinking about things outside of the box rather than in their more corporate thinking box. So like it's an exchange of ideas, exchange of work.
When did you get the idea to create a face painting book for coloring then?
I think it was within like my first year. I just kind of like doodled and like would practice drawing face painting designs. And like even way back when, like when my nieces and nephews were little, I like was trying to work on like making them a little activity workbook. So like I've tried to do books in the past. I mean, I never completed that one, but it was also just like I know that the biggest fight for parents is taking face paint off when they go home. The kids never want to take it off. They want to keep it for as long as they can. And so it was just like a way for them to take it home as well. I mean, it does work for like face painters and being mindful and practicing designs and stuff. But like, I think I made it more for kids to take face paint home. But I mean, it's dual purpose. Yeah, I mean, I looked online and tried to see what face painting coloring books were out there. And there were only, I think, 2 or 3 on the market. And so, I was like, oh, it's not like a big niche. So like, it's okay to like put something out there and maybe it'll be well received. Maybe it won't. And, back then I was doing vendor events. So like I would sell them at some of my vendor events and whatnot. So I was
So what
giving
I
them
liked
out.
about it was that it's not just colouring. So like you can colour, but you can also play with designs and create your own designs and sort of like tweak. And you can tell that you've got a background in graphics because it's beautifully done. Like it's
Thank you so
really, really
much.
nicely done. And I'm really enjoying like I said, working my way through it, playing around and hiding it from my daughter who really wants
One
really
thing
wants hands-on.
that's pretty disheartening though is like with the boom of AI and how everything is going, seeing all of these AI generated face paint characters come out after spending like a year developing this book and creating my characters and figuring out what world they come in and making them all look like they come from the same place. And then having AI and people just like posting all these AI cartoons and being like, look at my face paint character and then making it their whole thing. I'm like, oh, this hurts my heart.
Do you know what? I never thought that. I was chatting with Lisa from Pop Stencils, and she was saying like she's concerned about obviously China knocking off her designs, and that's essentially what AI is doing for
For
graphic designers
artists,
like
yeah.
yourself that have sat there and
I
designed
mean,
it.
us as face painters, a robot's not going to paint a child's face,
No.
but us as like the illustrative side, the designing side, that stuff can be easily taken, unfortunately. And AI is like super helpful in business. I do use AI to help me with certain tasks of my business, like responding to emails professionally and that sort of stuff. But like, I am not a big fan of like AI art or AI flyers or AI marketing. But, I get that people are limited in what they know how to do, but I definitely recommend that people try to learn on their own because it makes your stuff look better. Like everything in AI looks very similar. Like if you've seen the flyers, all the events look similar and you can't
And I
tell
feel like
which
there's
event's
a real
which, but
backlash now, isn't there?
there is, yeah.
There's a real backlash. A few places I've seen recently said we won't attend your event if you generate an AI poster, and I thought it's a bit extreme. But yeah, so I think people are now getting cross at seeing all the AI slop that comes out, basically. Yeah, but your book's not like that. Your book's lovely.
Thank you. I
Do you
tried.
personally use colouring as a way to sort of like switch off and unwind?
I do sometimes, yeah. Like I've colored in it quite a few times. I mean, in the summer, I don't really have as much time to, but like in the winter, I do. I did have like 7 books planned, but my book ideas have kind of changed a little bit. And honestly, the AI generated stuff has kind of put me off making
Mm,
additional versions of the coloring book because like the one that you have is animal edition and
yeah,
I had like Under the Sea and Princesses and Mermaids and like I had all these plans to do like other editions of the book,
yeah.
but I'm focusing more on doing a written book instead
Okay.
now. So yeah,
Can you tell us more about that?
so it's
Or is it
just
top secret?
it's not top secret. I can tell you a little bit about it. It's more about like, there are dozens of books and YouTube videos teaching you how to do designs and, how to be a better face painter. But like, there's nothing really teaching you about like the business side or like talking about the journey of face painting and how to have like a sustainable, profitable long-lasting career in face painting. And so that's kind of what I'm working on, is just talking about my journey and networking and I've listened to so many audiobooks on business and I would like to think that I've learned quite a bit. And yeah, so I'm going to be putting all that into a book and hopefully, I mean, I want to create something I wish I had when I started because it would have helped me build a better business faster. And
So
I hope.
business for beginners geared towards
Yeah,
face
not
painting
even for
then?
beginners, but like for even professionals. Like I think there's aspects that like, even if you've been doing this for a long time, there are some things that you just don't think about. Like even face painters that have been in the industry for a long time, they don't necessarily go out and network and meet other business owners and that sort of stuff. And then there's also like, the whole pricing thing as well. People don't think about what their actual overhead is and what their profit margins are and that sort of stuff. They're just like, this is what's being charged in my area. And so I'm going to go slightly above or slightly lower or match that. And they're not thinking about like, is that actually profitable for me? Is my business covering its costs and am I making money on top of that? And am I paying myself? I actually have I can give you a little preview of the first chapter if you want.
Yes, please. Exclusive.
You are a business owner who offers face painting as a service. Read that again because the difference isn't just semantic. It changes everything. You are a business owner who offers face painting as a service. A face painter asks, what is everyone else charging? A business owner asks, what do I need to charge to be profitable and sustainable? A face painter asks, why isn't anyone booking me? A business owner asks, who is my ideal client? Where are they looking? And am I showing up there? A face painter takes whatever work comes in. A business owner decides which works best serves the business and which doesn't. And that's just kind of a little preview in there. But,
Will you record the audiobook, do you think?
I absolutely will because that is how I read. That is a big goal of mine is to turn it into an audiobook because that's how I consume knowledge. I don't have time to sit down and read a book. And so I listen to them on my way to gigs when I'm driving. And so that would be my preferred method for a book, honestly. Yeah, because I consume audiobooks a lot. Like I think my goal is 28 this year. And I think I'm already at 19 or 20 books. So yes,
I mean,
that
I
would
do it all
be.
the time. I do it when I'm walking, driving, cleaning,
doing dishes.
always have to be plugged in, just to keep focused on whatever boring task I'm doing. I mean, I've even done it before. I was at a really, really quiet job and there was like an hour where nobody came over. So I just had one of my earpods in and I was listening to a book just because I thought and I was painting on my own arm and practicing and listening just to make use of my time. So I wasn't sat there looking too miserable. But
have you read Sarah's book yet, The Professional Face Painter?
I haven't. My friend Michelle was showing me and she was singing its praises, and I've had Sarah on and it's on my list to do.
I listened to her podcast.
It's on my list to do.
Yeah, we plan on having a one-to-one. I did message her and I told her that about my idea for the book. And so we're going to have a little video chat and chat about ideas. And lovely. I was hoping to maybe quote some parts of the book that I really liked. And it's a great book.
Yeah, because they'd work really well together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I do wish that I had that title, though, because, I have the face paint coloring book. I have the face painter's planner. So the professional face painter would have been the perfect title for my book. So I have to come up with a different title. But, I think Sarah's book is one of the only other really mindset and business face painting books there are. I think I found on Amazon, but I was kind of nervous to buy them because they're $40 or $50, but I have no idea what's actually in them. But otherwise, there's not really anything else on the market like that. And so what Sarah has is really special. And I'm excited to add even more introspect into that because hers is more about the mindset of being a professional. And I'm hoping that I can give more insight on how to take action on that and what actions I've taken and give insight on that. Yeah.
So because creating one resource wasn't enough, you've done your colouring book, you've already done a planner, now you're doing the business book. Could you tell us a bit about the new planner? Because you kindly sent me that because it's printable and I'm in love with it.
Yeah, I actually prefer the physical one because it keeps it all in one space, but I guess you could hole punch it and put it in a binder and stuff as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've done.
But it was pretty expensive for me to ship you a copy across the world. So
yeah,
I sent you the digital version.
But which I love because, like I said, I hole punched it. I've got it in a binder. Like I said to you earlier, the pages on the events, I've just printed extra copies of those for as many as I need.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole point of the digital one as well. It's evergreen. It will last you as long as you want. Whereas the book, you would have to buy a new one every year. I mean, I like having everything in one place, but having the digital version, you're able to use that for years because you just print off pages as you need. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to both. You could do it either way. You could also use it digitally on an iPad.
The planner, was it born from sort of something that you personally felt was missing in your own business?
I actually made it for myself. I, looking at the monthly view on the calendar, you can only fit so much information in those little squares. And then I would have the information written down on a scrap of paper or just somewhere hidden in an email. And so I needed a place to put all that information and have it all in one place and keep track of my goals and my monthly income and be able to reflect back and look. I keep my flip calendars with the little squares, my monthly view calendars. I still keep them because I like to flip back and be okay, I did this event that day and whatever. And so having all that in one place was just so much more beneficial. And then I realized that it could be helpful to other people. I gave one to my best face painting friend that lives up the street from me, and she tried it out and she's oh, this was super great and super helpful. And I was okay, maybe I should publish it. And so I published it, and I haven't sold a whole ton of them, but I find it helpful, and hopefully eventually other people will too. I mean, I don't think I do a great job of marketing it or anything, but I like doing the monthly summary the most, going over how many gigs I did that month, what the income was, what my profit was, what went well, what didn't go well, and doing the reflecting and then setting goals for the next month and then going back and looking at it and be okay, did I meet my goals last month? What do I need to do to improve? And I think having goals in a business is really important and really motivating as well. So
what was it like seeing the physical copy for the first time? You've created a book.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, having all these physical things is Yeah, no, it's really nice, like, holding the coloring book for the first time or holding the planner for the first time. It was kinda
Mm,
magical. It's kinda like, "Oh, these are mine." I never of course, like, I had the ideas of, like, doing coloring books or short stories, like, way, way back, but, like,
mm.
I never thought that I would actually ever publish anything. I mean, they're only self-published, they're not, like, published by a publishing company or anything, but, it's very nice, and I just hope that it helps people and that it like, the coloring book brings people joy and peace and, like, I hope the planner does end up helping people because, again, these are things that I wish that I had when I started.
So, do you have any words of advice for a painter that might be sitting on an idea for a book or a plan or a stencil or course or product or any of the other things that we're all trying to slightly diversify. So we've got our face painting, but is there something else we can do with our specific skill set to earn a little bit more money or to add another string to our bow? Do you have any advice or what would you say usually stops someone from just going for it and starting?
Everyone has ideas, but not very many people take action on them. And so, it's just take those first steps, start actually doing it and making progress, make a commitment to yourself, invest in it, and actually do it because people are going to admire you just for like actually doing it, taking action because a lot of people don't take action. Like there's so many ideas and so many things that people think about and then they regret not doing it. So like just take the leap, do it. It doesn't matter if it's perfect the first time. Like go back and revise it, make it better later. Like do your like publish it and take market research and then revise it and make it better, just do it would be my advice.
Just go for it.
Just go for it. Dive in.
I mean, I agree. I'd never done a podcast before. I decided before Christmas it'd be a really good idea to start a podcast. And then here we are 6 months later.
Yeah, look how crazy it is. You've had so
I know,
many amazing people on here.
mind blowing. And I've got so many people booked in. Like I'm having to schedule people now like 3 or 4 months away because all the recording slots are booked up. It's just bananas. But yeah, it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have just gone, well, I'll do it. It might be rubbish. No one will listen, but
Hey,
it might be fun.
I'm listening over here in Canada.
I know, which is
people are listening to you internationally.
Bonkers. Yeah, bonkers. Really, really crazy. And someone said to me recently, I was at an event and someone said, oh, have we met before? Have we worked together before? And I was like, no, I don't think so. And then she was like, I just really recognize your voice. And I thought, oh God, I'm in people's psyche now. They're recognizing my voice. Oh no. So it's really weird. So, but yeah, it's good. It's been amazing. The response has been amazing. And yeah, it's what I wanted to listen to. So just like you said with the planner and the coloring book, it's what you were looking for, that thing that you wish you had. I mean, that's the reason I started the podcast is because I'd finished a really busy day at, I think, my first pumpkin patch or something. And I was feeling a bit flat and a bit like, and I was driving home listening to another podcast and I was sort of like laughing along thinking, oh yeah, I get that. And then I was thinking, I wish it was face paint and stalking and I could be like, yes, that's what's just happened to me. And then I thought, well, if no one else is doing it, I might as well do it.
Yeah, no,
So, and here we
absolutely.
are.
And look at that. You just took the leap and did it.
Yeah, just took the leap. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. But yeah, so advice for people out there, just go for it. What's the worst that can happen, right?
Yeah, worst thing, nobody listens or nobody reads it, but it's still out there and you tried and that's what matters.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not going to regret trying, are you?
Yeah, no.
So what would you say that a normal week looks like for you then? You said you do some corporate jobs during the week.
A normal week for me would look like Mondays are my day off, but usually I end up answering emails or whatever that all came in over the weekend because, I'm not really answering emails on the weekend. So my day off is on Monday. Tuesdays, I spend my day here at the Fountainhead Network. I work in exchange for a membership. I just work at the membership desk for like 4 hours in exchange for access to the network and getting to work in the space for free. And then Wednesdays, I have my BNI meeting in the morning. And then usually lately, Wednesdays have been super popular. I've been doing like birthday parties and corporate events on Wednesdays. I think now this summer. Thursdays, And then Thursday through Sunday, I'm usually working events. Usually like Thursday's a prep day, but I have been having events on Thursdays recently. But usually Thursday's like an event prep day, and then I kind of like prep all my bins for the weekend so that I can just grab and go in between events. And yeah, that's what a typical week looks like for me. And then in between there, I try to spend time with my husband and my dog.
Yeah, try and have a life.
Yeah.
What business mistake has taught you the most? Has anything ever gone wrong?
I mean, absolutely. Stuff has gone wrong before, but I don't know if I would call them mistakes more than learning opportunities. I would say if mistake would just be like, again, it's just a learning opportunity. Like, knowing what market I'm going after and like, I've definitely learned that like vendor events aren't for me. Mistakes. That is a tough
But I
question.
like that. I like the reframing. None of it has to be seen negatively as a mistake. They're all just, like you said, learning opportunities. Like I recently had it was like the RSPCA. So like the sort of like pet. No, actually it wasn't. That's a lie. It was the Cats Protection. They contacted me recently because I think I did a craft fair back when I think it was like my third or fourth little job that I ever took on. Did a craft fair last year in the summer, and I think I was there for 4 hours and painted a handful of faces. It was just a bit of a waste of time. But at the time, I was just like absolutely thrilled to be painting faces because I was like, I need to get some practice, and my children won't come anywhere near me anymore. The minute I get the paintbrush out, they're like disappeared. So I was just happy to be given an opportunity to sit, be able to do it in my own time. There was something quite nice about not having to worry about a queue or anything when it's one of your first jobs and stuff. But then when they emailed around saying they're doing the same event this year and they'd love to have me back, I was thinking, no, because it was a learning opportunity. I learned lots when I was there. I also learned that it wasn't financially viable for me to do that sort of job. Again, it just was no benefit in that sense. So not a mistake. I learned a lot, but I wouldn't do it again. Try to put a positive spin on it.
One thing I would consider more of a mistake learning opportunity would be not knowing what my COGS were, like my cost of goods and services, like what my profit margins were. I did them like when I first started, but like my expenses as a business were way super low because like I didn't have very much equipment. I didn't, I only had insurance. I didn't have like all these networking memberships and all these different expenses. And I didn't look at them for 2 years. And then I recently looked at them, I think it was 2 months ago. And then I realized areas where my business wasn't profitable. And so like I was kind of losing money in those areas, like birthday parties. It is not profitable for me to send out and subcontract the artists that I normally do for corporate events for a birthday party. It's just not profitable for me because by the time I take out my business expenses, I think the profit on that is only like 2%. And so I had to think, why am I adding this to my tax profile that I'm going to have to pay taxes on if it's not profitable, like if it's not worth it for me? And so I stopped subcontracting out birthday parties and have recently taken on a junior artist who I'm going to train to do birthday parties instead, because it's like as a business, you have to be sustainable to stay in business. And so, yeah, that's the route. So that's a lesson that I learned the hard way, kind of, that I was losing money in a certain area of my business. Yeah, because like, you have a certain amount of overhead that it costs just to have your business a month. And then, you have differential costs, which like change all the time depending on like if equipment breaks or, you need to pay vendor fees or, that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't really vend anymore, so that's not really in there, but I know other people do. So I'm taking that into account. So like you have your overhead, and then, you have to know like what your profit is on that. And like if your profit margins aren't high enough, then like the sustainability of your business isn't going to be as viable. So I think knowing that is very important. Like people think, oh, I just need to charge this much per hour and I get that whole amount. But no, you have to think about like all your overhead, your insurance, your networking memberships, your cost of your paints, your labor, there's so much that comes into the cost of my storage for all my equipment. Cause like I live in an apartment building, so I have storage downstairs, the studio in my home, that's considered a business cost, like the rent for just that room. There's a lot of overhead that people don't think about, I think, in business. And I stopped thinking about it for a while, and I made that mistake. So there's a mistake for you.
Do you have any words of wisdom or any advice for newer painters or even experienced painters that might not have thought about it?
I would say learn as much as you can. And, if you have the opportunity to go out and network, definitely do it because, learning from people who are not in the same industry as you is beneficial as well. Like, you don't have to do what every other face painter is doing. Like, learning outside will teach you a lot of stuff as well. And, consume as much knowledge as you can. And just, it's not always about being the best face painter in the world. It's about creating something that's going to be sustainable for your body, for your life, for and just to be able to do long term.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee, 100%.
One stroke or split cake?
One stroke.
Festival queue or a birthday party?
Festival queue.
What's one brush that you couldn't live without?
Probably my Paint Pal 3/4 inch brush. It's one of my bigger brushes for
Is
sure.
it flat or angled?
It's angled.
There you go. What design could you paint in your sleep?
A butterfly or tiger.
What design do you secretly hope that nobody picks?
Cheek art, because it's just so hard to do such a detailed little thing in a short period of time, and it never turns out how I want. I am definitely more of a full face painter than doing cheek art. That is my nemesis.
I was looking at someone the other day that was doing these amazing little flowers and then just all these flicky, swirly, sparkly bits, and it's all just contained here. And I was mesmerized. I was thinking, how do they do it? How do they do it? I'd much rather do a whole face.
Like someone asks for a little tiger on their cheek. I'm like, no, do the whole face. It'll look so much better. I promise you'll be disappointed if you ask me for it on your cheek. I may have an art background, but doing it so quickly and so small is challenging.
Yeah. Balloon twisting or face painting?
Face painting.
Early morning booking or late night event?
Early morning.
But not as early as today, right?
No, not as early as today.
No, today was too early.
No face painting at 5:30 a.m.
What's your most used paint colour?
Blue or orange?
What's the most chaotic thing that's ever happened at a booking?
Honestly, it was probably just me at that 10 artist event running around like a chicken with its head cut off, all worried because, I got a call from the client that one of my artists was late to the mall event because they got stuck in the FIFA traffic. And so it was me running around the event being like, are you okay? Are you ready? It was very stressful to do honestly, that was me. I was the stressful, chaotic thing at the event.
Well, I mean, hats off to you. I mean, I've only run 3 events now where I've had to sort of get other painters in to help me or to run a little team. And I said after the first couple, I was like, doing that again. That was not my bag. I can do it. Doesn't mean I want to do it. So
I think
I probably won't be running a little team again.
I think just because it was so big, it was extra stressful. It was multiple services. It was glitter, tattoos, balloons, and face painting. So I don't know. It was just too many people, I think. And
it's hard organizing people, isn't it? And then remembering to organize yourself as well.
Yeah, it is.
What's your favorite item in your kit?
My face paint stickers. They're from my face paint coloring book, but they are super great to have on hand. A, for marketing because kids stick stickers everywhere. B, for kids, even though I have signs that say I don't paint kids under 3, parents will still be like, please do it, please do it. And I mean, if they absolutely beg me and if the child will sit still, I mean, if they're 2.5 or whatever, I'll do it on the arm. I won't do their face. And then if they're even younger, I'll be like, no, I can't, but here you can have a face paint sticker. Or somebody will wait in the line with their kid and then their kid will be like, I don't want face paint anymore. So having those stickers to give out and be like, here, you still get a face paint without having to get it. So I would say the face paint stickers are definitely the best thing to have in my kit besides Q-tips.
Nice. And if you could only paint one animal design for the rest of your career, what are you going to choose?
Probably tiger or butterfly.
Finally, what is next for Mackenzie and MJC Artistry?
Working on the book. I mean, I feel like it's going to be very hard to top this year. I mean, having that big corporate event, getting to speak on this podcast, working the FIFA World Cup in Vancouver. I mean, I feel like it's going to be really hard to top this year, but I know that there's going to be bigger and more interesting things to come, I hope. But yeah, no, just continuing to work on my business, working on the book and starting my personal brand and just trying to separate my business from like the education side of it, like trying to keep my business Instagram focused on like local people in my area and then separating the face painters over to like my personal branding Instagram, which will talk about like books and education and what I've learned as a business owner and that sort of stuff. So I feel like that's the next kind of projects in my business.
Oh, it's been an amazing year for you so far. And we're only halfway through, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how the rest of the year is going to go, but I'm definitely feel like I'm peaking, but I'm definitely like, how's it going to go down?
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be
crossed.
positive.
Fingers crossed.
Positive.
Work hard and your dreams will come true for sure.
Mackenzie, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for getting up so early to talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me. Like I said, I love listening to the podcast, and it's so nice to have something just for us face painters. And so thank you so much for hosting this community. I love being a part of it.
That's it for today's episode of Sponge Stories. If you found this helpful or it made you think, oh, thank God it's not just me, I'd love for you to share it with another face painter who needs to hear it. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. There's plenty more real talk and a bit more waffle coming your way. And if you've got a story, a question, or you'd even like to come on the podcast, you can email me at hello@spongecommunity.co.uk or send us a DM over on Instagram, Sponge Stories.